we are going to walk you through something that is like, and once you get this right in your business, and it's not hard to do, especially with my help, I'm going to actually help you write these out. It is a game changer for your business as long as you follow the process. Okay. It doesn't just like magically convert into clients, but it does convert into clients way easier and way faster than what you're probably doing right now or actually not doing. This is something that I will say is so much more important now as it relates to marketing yourself online, especially on social media, than any other time. And I'm going to explain to you why. So if you're posting, you're putting content out there and you feel like nothing is happening, it's most likely because you're also not doing this piece. There's more to marketing than posting. In fact, posting is not marketing. Okay. Marketing and content, like content marketing, for example, is allowing people to get to know, like, and trust you through your marketing, right? But that only goes so far. What we want to do is we want to allow our content to actually activate our audience so that they give us permission because they raise their virtual hands. And I'm going to share exactly what I mean by that. But they give us permission to then reach out to them and to start a conversation with them. And for us to get to know, like, and trust them, and for them to get to know, like, and trust us on a more relational level. One-on-one level. And we have so much access to do this on social media through Messenger, through direct messages on Instagram, through connection messages on LinkedIn, and so on and so forth. Through, you can add a chatbot to your website, whatever the case. But it is so important. And it's one of those pieces that is a challenge for a lot of people because, and I'm going to share why, because you may think, well, gosh, this is an extra step that I have to do now, right? Is there an easier way to do this? I get this all the time from my clients. And here's the thing. If you think it takes extra time, let's really talk about that first, right? Because what's actually time consuming is you continuing to put out content out there and not getting people to raise their hand and not having conversations with people. So I would rather have one piece of content per week that's like activating my audience immediately and putting out other content that's like spreading these breadcrumbs so that they can get to know, like, and trust me. But having at least one piece of content out there that's literally asking them if they want something that I know that they probably want because I'm going to dig into their pain points and desires. And that's going to get them to say, yes, I want to know more. And now I can have a real conversation with them rather than cold messaging people, right? And rather than guessing if your audience really wants something or doesn't want anything. Okay. So what I'm talking about today is how to move someone from being a stranger to an actual sale. So turning conversations into conversions using DMs, direct messages, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on Instagram, I don't care where you're doing it. Okay. This is going to work all in the same way. Okay. So first, before I jump into what this looks like, the strategy. Okay. Here's what I want you to know. We are in a digital era where most people are scrolling through content and they are thinking twice before they actually trust you online. Online trust is at an all-time low. However, online consumption is growing and growing and growing. Right? So it's like, how do we find the balance? It's like a catch-22. But the thing is that people are tired of being sold to. During COVID, when we were stuck at home, guess what we were doing? We were online all the time and we were buying stuff all the time. Now we have come out of that. We're still coming out of that. And we are like in detox mode of that. Okay. People are tired of being sold. They want to feel seen. They want to feel understood. They want to connect, especially if you're selling high ticket services or premium offers. Okay. I'm not talking about a low ticket offer, like a $47 offer. Honestly, I'm even talking about anything that's higher than $100 and you're talking to a cold audience that doesn't know you, or you're talking to a warm audience that still hasn't bought from you. There's a reason why you have not activated them. You have not said something or connected with them in a way where they actually want to purchase from you. Not yet. And maybe they're also not in the moment, right? So we all go through different buying cycles and it's not their moment yet. Okay. So people aren't just buying information anymore. They are buying connection. And that's why I love my containers. Like our mastermind programs are purposely and intentionally intimate and small because we have time to connect with each other. Every time you come into one of my groups, even when we do our workshop, right? We just did a free workshop that was a 7-day workshop. It was intimate. We actually got to connect with each other. And that's what people are buying into, whether it's free or paid. So if you've been frustrated by the algorithm and maybe you're burnt out on content, which that's a whole other conversation. If you were in my workshop, hopefully that helped you with how you're implementing content moving forward. But if you're wondering why like that perfect post didn't land a single sale or a lead, it's likely because you're missing this one powerful piece in your entire marketing strategy. And it's a very simple, direct message strategy that creates real connection. So this isn't about sending like a few cold messages to people, right? Or following up and feeling awkward about it. It's about understanding the psychology of connection and how that is used to build trust, one authentic conversation at a time. It's so important, guys. I can't stress this enough. So statistically, warm conversations in DMs will close up to 60 to 80% higher than cold sales pages. So if you've been working on a sales page and you're not actually connecting with people through DMs, you can literally like throw that sales page in the garbage. It's going to do nothing for you. Just saying. People are 5 times more likely to buy from someone that they have spoken to directly, even briefly. So I'm not talking about like a full-on 30-minute conversation through DMs. It can move super quick with the way that you word things, how you listen to the answers from the questions that you're giving them in DMs. Okay. So again, if you're thinking that this is going to take extra time, what I want you to instead shift your thinking, your perspective is that the approach that you've been doing is actually dragging out the sales process. It's leading to more objections and it leaves you wondering why, when you're sending someone just a link, why they're not converting. But when you take a few minutes, literally a few minutes, and it can be a seconds at a time to create real connection with one person at a time in DMs, you are building trust faster, you're qualifying leads much faster, and you're turning a maybe into a yes without chasing them down. By the time you offer them a call, if that's your next step from a DM, it's less objections and they're really just wondering like, okay, where do I sign up? Okay, so which one would you rather do? Would you rather like spend lots of time sending people to a link and not getting any sales? Or would you rather send out 10 messages a day to people that you have activated through a post that I'm going to share with you how that works and actually having real live conversations with people? Okay. So the psychology behind this is that it's a noisy feed on all of these platforms. Human connection stands out. So let's get a little bit more like tactical on this. Algorithms, there's an algorithm on Facebook, there's an algorithm on Instagram, on LinkedIn, there's algorithms inside of DMs too. Algorithms prioritize one-on-one engagement, especially DMs, over any other action that happens on these platforms. What do I mean by that? If you start to send a direct message to someone and they respond back, because of that direct message, the algorithm is actually going to push your content out to those people more often. Okay. So that's another reason why DMs are so important. And this is what we call a relationship signal. And it matters more than likes or comments. Okay. DM replies have a higher engagement behavior because, again, they tell the algorithm this person is interested. So let me show them more. So if you want to know how to get out of your friends and family, like little worlds on your like Facebook profile, for example, start sending personal messages through Messenger to people that you think could actually be ideal clients. But I'm going to show you how to do this without actually sending out a cold message, right? Because that's really not what we want to do. We want to actually have our content work for us and get people to raise their hands, which is then essentially giving you the okay to send them a personal message. Now, beyond the tech, I want you to think about this. When was the last time that you responded to a sales page with your credit card instantly, especially if it was something over like $100? Okay. Probably not super often, right? But when you take, or when someone takes a few minutes to connect, to listen, and to offer real help, you're going to pay attention, vice versa. When you take a few minutes to connect with someone, to listen to them, and to offer them real help, not sell them something, but to offer them real help, like share a tip with them, maybe share a free resource, they are going to pay attention to you. They're not going to keep scrolling through the feed when they see one of your posts. They're actually going to stop and pay attention. Okay. This isn't cold outreach. This is conversation driven conversions, because real relationships equal real revenue. Okay. So here's where you want to definitely pull out your notes. And very first thing that you need to do before you start messaging people, you need to start activating the algorithm. You need to warm up the platform that you are mainly on. If you're on multiple ones, then you're going to need to do this in multiple places. I honestly suggest to stick to one, okay, when it comes to this, because you need to get it right in one place before you really build out this system on multiple platforms. If not, you're going to drive yourself crazy and you're going to be super overwhelmed, especially if you don't have a team and it's just you doing this. Okay. So the first step to a successful DM strategy is to be an active user on the platform, not just a creator, not just a content dumper. And what I mean by this is I'm going to walk through this really quick. You need to act like a real CEO and a real leader of your business and take 15 minutes a day to intentionally engage with like 5 to 10 people's content. Okay. Go to their most recent 2 to 3 posts, be very intentional on those people that you select, and leave a meaningful comment on their content. Reply to their stories, ask a question, okay? Things like that. Think of it like this. If you just walked into a networking event and you stood in the corner, would anyone just rush over to you? No, right? But if you smiled, if you gave a compliment, if you asked someone about their business, the conversation would start to flow. Okay. So it's really the same thing. It's just, you got to take the tech out of the situation so that it allows you to think this way. And this isn't about really tricking the algorithm. It's about acting like a real human. I just want to say there are so many people on social media that act like freaking robots. It's disgusting and it's really annoying. So I want you to also think like, do those messages annoy you? Absolutely. Right. I get them all the time and I ignore, or sometimes I play around with it and I'll be a little salty and, kind of put them in their place in a very nice, loving way. But this is really about acting like a real human, and the results will follow when you do that. Okay. So like I said, step 1 is activate the algorithm, warm up the platform that you're on. Next part to this is building a lead machine in the DMs. Okay. So how does this work? You've engaged and you want to do this daily. You want to engage with people daily on other people's content, about 10 to 15 minutes a day. Do that daily. It's going to help you when you get to this part. Then once you've done that, you want to start creating, and I would create like a set of 4 of these. So you have one for every week of the month. Okay. You want to create what I call an activation post, also known as a hand-raising post. Some people call it a ladder post even. Now, this can be like a one-statement post, or it can be a long-form post. I will tell you the ones that work fastest are the one-statement posts, because they are like concise, to the point, they're very clear, and they're not making people think a lot, okay? So when you are writing these out, you want to think about the pain point that your ideal client has. And then you want to offer a quick win or a freebie, a juicy freebie. And then you're going to end with a simple call to action. Okay. So I'm going to give you a very easy example. And actually it's like 2 short sentences. And on Facebook, these work really well on a solid color background. So, inside of the Facebook platform, you can create posts with solid color backgrounds. So here's an example. Struggling to convert content into clients. I've got a simple script that helps you turn your DMs into revenue. Who wants it? And then you can add like an arrow at the bottom or something. That is it. Okay. So do you notice what I did there? I'm going to break this up again. Struggling to convert content into clients. That's the pain point. Very to the point. It's using words that my ideal clients actually use. They tell me I'm struggling to convert my content into clients. I hear that all the time before they come work with us, right? So I want you to use a one-liner pain point statement, convert it into a question that is using the same words that your ideal clients, leads, prospects have used with you. And how do you figure that out? I mean, record the conversations you have when you get people on Zoom. If you've got questionnaires, surveys, things like that, where people are filling out information. If you don't have clients yet and you're not sure how to do this, then I would highly recommend you start interviewing potential clients or, people that could be a potential client, but maybe they're friends, and ask them certain questions about the things that they're struggling as it relates to what it is that you do, the problem that you solve. Okay. You can also go on Amazon and read book reviews. So look for books that are in your industry that are solving people's problems with the same struggles that your ideal clients have, and read those book reviews. And there's great verbiage there because you're getting the words that people are actually saying. And then the next part to that statement was, I've got a simple script that helps you turn your DMs into revenue. So that is the freebie, right? That's that juicy freebie. And then I'm just saying, want it? You could say, drop me below. You could say, just want it, and people will just answer yes, right? Okay, makes sense? So that's step 2. After you've activated the algorithm, which is step 1, step 2 is to write that activation post and post it after you write it. Now, one thing to remember about this activation post is that it's not about being clever. It just goes back to what I was saying about making sure that you are using very concise wording, very clear wording, and wording that your ideal clients or prospects or leads actually use. Okay. That's really, really important. So step 3, once this is posted, so what do you do next? When people are like, hey, yes, I want that. Or yes, please send that to me, or whatever they comment. Okay. Do not ignore those comments. And also do not ignore the reaction. Some people will actually just hit the like button and not even comment. So for those that comment, you want to acknowledge their comment by responding. Hit a reply to that comment and say something like, hey, amazing. I'm going to send you a private message to let you know how you can access it. Okay. Now, one thing that I have been doing more recently, because the algorithm is really weird inside of Messenger, especially if they are not friends with you, they may not see the message right away. So one thing that I do say when I say, hey, awesome, I'm going to send you a private message, I sometimes will also say, please check your message request folder if you don't see it. Really important to do. We have a message request folder, and that is where messages go from people that we are not actually connected to. All right. Now, you got to take this a step further, right? Because now you got to send them a personal message. This is where people are like, well, why can't I just drop the link inside of the comment in the post thread? Well, here's why. Because then you're not connecting with them one-on-one. You're not building that relationship, right? And you're going to lose them. So don't skip this part. It is just plain freaking lazy. I'm just going to say it. And I hear it all the time, but I'm so busy. I only have a certain amount of time in my day. You don't have to do these all at once, by the way. Like, break it apart. I don't know, like if you have 100 messages, which, I've done this, there's times that I've gotten 5 comments. There's times that I've gotten 300 comments on one of these types of posts, right? Take your time going through them. You didn't promise that you'd get back to them in a certain amount of time. Now, don't do this last minute if you have something coming up the next day, or if you do, make sure that you have someone to help you respond to those, right? So if you are like overloaded, then you can do it that way, but don't skip this part. Next thing you want to do is you're going to go into a private message with them. You're going to send them a private message and you're going to say, hey, thank you so much for your comment on my post about if you're struggling to convert content into clients, I have a script for you. So remind them what they commented on, because some people comment on a lot of things all day long and they may forget, right? So you want to remind them and then say, absolutely, I want to send this to you. But first, if you have never messaged them before, you also want to say in that same message, before I send it to you, before I send you access or before I send you the link, can you just let me know that you got this message? Just hit reply really quick and let me know, because Messenger is kind of funky lately, and it is. So that is one of the best things that you can do is if you have never been in Messenger with them and you haven't had interaction inside of Messenger, try to get them to respond back to you before you actually send them that link, because they may also not see it. And then you may be getting frustrated, like nobody's responding back, right? So it's a very nice and easy way to get people to actually respond back. Now, when they respond back, you go, amazing. Thank you so much. So here's the link for you to access it. I'll be back in touch in a few days to follow up and see if you had any questions. And you literally want to be back in touch in a few days, guys. And you want to track all of this, okay? Track it in a Google Sheet. There's third-party apps out there as well. One of my favorites is Group Track. I do have an affiliate link with them. It's a CRM. It's not free. It's definitely subscription based, but it's amazing. It works really well if, if you've got a super active audience and you need to like streamline this and have pipelines and keep yourself a little more organized. But if not, before I had Group Track, I would use a Google spreadsheet, and I literally would write down the first and last name of everyone that I messaged. I'd also include their link to their profile wherever I messaged them from, what I sent them, the date that I sent them something, so that I knew when to follow up. All right. So some other things that you can do when you've sent them that is you could also ask them something like, hey, so I'm so glad you're interested in this. I'm curious, what really sparked your curiosity to want this? Is there something specific in your business or whatever with your weight or your health that you're dealing with that you thought this would be helpful for, right? So now I'm getting to know them and to understand what their pain points are and maybe what their goals are. Because then you could be like, you know what? You're going to love this resource that I'm sending you, but I have a better idea for you. If you're open to it, I have some time on my calendar tomorrow or Friday at either 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. And I've got some ideas to really help you through this. And I'm happy to do that. I do free health assessments, or, for me, I do free mini audits all the time. And I have extra room on my calendar. Would you be interested? Or which day would work better for you? Right? So again, it's just being human. Okay. Track the conversations. Big one. Another thing not to skip. All right. So that is literally how you can get dozens, if not hundreds of leads from one post. All right, guys. And that's about it. Bye, guys.